Warmest greetings and happy holidays to all of you, my friends. And thank you so much for tuning in with me here today as we take a look at the cosmic weather shaping up around this last full moon of the year. My name is Carrie Konyha. I'm a professional psychic reader, shamanic energy healing practitioner, and soul guide here in Sedona, Arizona. I love working with astrology as a map and foundation for our personal growth journey. The overarching theme around the year 2024 that we're about to shift into now is all about us all collectively rising into the higher frequency aspect and expressions of ourselves. And this full moon happening in the sign of Cancer is supporting us in the way that it illuminates our awareness around what we need to clear, what we need to release that is not supporting us in rising into our highest frequency selves. And it's also showing us where we need to nurture aspects of ourselves that will support us in rising into our higher frequency versions of ourself, our 5D versions, if you will. This last week of the year, but really I would say for the next few weeks as we're coming into the next new moon, which will be on January 11th in Capricorn, more on that later. But this is a highly intuitive time. In fact, the primary element that is highlighted with the astrology around this full moon is the water element. And there's also the highlights of the cardinal modality, which really brings in a lot of motivation for all of us collectively to use this time now to be positioning ourselves for really being able to sort of bust out of the gate into the new year. The busting out of the gate energy is really going to be more prevalent around the actual new moon. So this next 2 weeks is all about doing what we can do to prepare ourselves for that. There's a lot of ambitious energies around our growth journey coming in regard to the aspects that are happening with both Jupiter and Saturn right now. Jupiter is making a sextile aspect to the moon and trining the sun. Sextiles and trine aspects are positive, beneficial, opportunistic aspects. The moon is about our inner being, our sensing, feeling self, our unconscious mind, our intuition. And the sun is our identity, our conscious awareness. Jupiter is the planet of growth, expansion, opportunity, and good fortune. So Jupiter making these positive aspects to both the sun and the moon is illuminating our conscious awareness and our intuitive self around what we desire in regard to our growth as we're coming into the new year here. And again, this next few weeks is about purging, clearing, releasing, letting go of anything that's not serving that. And that can include our own ideas, our old outworn beliefs that aren't serving us anymore, old emotional patterns that we're ready to release. This is a really good time to be doing any type of healing work for yourself this last week of the month here, moving into the new year, fresh and clear and ready to go. So Saturn, the planet of responsibility. Saturn rules things like structure, time, rules, regulations on more collective levels, but on a personal level, it's our self-determination, it's our self-discipline, it's our self-responsibility. And Saturn is making a trine to the moon. It is making a sextile to Jupiter and also a sextile to the sun. So these also are positive aspects. Now, let's remember this. Saturn had been retrograde in Pisces and it just went direct at the beginning of November. I believe it was November 4th. And it retrograded all the way back to the 0 degree mark of Pisces, like 0 degrees in some minutes. So it was still in Pisces. But that retrograde back to that point is like a karmic reset. So this is a time where we've all been working with healing and clearing old karmic issues in our lives. And now Saturn is still in Pisces, but going direct, gaining a new momentum. And now, with these positive aspects that it's making to the moon, Jupiter, and the sun, that Saturn energy is supporting us in clarifying and renewing our commitment to our self growth. If you take some time to get still within yourself, you're going to notice that you're feeling this, and working with this energy directly and conscientiously only is going to support you in optimizing your growth in regard to whatever your personal growth goals are in the coming year. This includes anything that you want to create, experience, or manifest. Saturn is also manifestation energy. It's the ruler of Capricorn. We are in Capricorn season. The next new moon that we have on January 11th is in Capricorn. So again, this little corridor of time that we're in right now between the full moon illuminating our awareness around all of these things, this is the time to be clearing away anything that you need to clear away and setting the space for success, so to speak. So this full moon in Cancer is happening at 7:33 p.m. Eastern time in the United States. So make whatever adjustments you need to make for your location. But the thing I want to say here is that on that same day, Chiron goes direct in the sign of Aries. And Chiron has been retrograde in Aries since this past July, this past summer. Chiron represents our core wounds, our woundedness that we came into the world to heal. And it also represents how we can support collective healing and transformation through healing our own wounds. Now, with Chiron going direct in Aries, Aries is ruled by Mars, which we're going to talk about in a moment. But Aries is also about our self-identity. It's our drive, it's our motivation, it's our ambitiousness. And so Chiron going direct now in Aries is also activating within us all a renewed sense of motivation, drive, ambitiousness in regard to thriving in the coming year. My intuitive sense, and I said this a few videos ago, is that the energy of coming into 2024 feels like we're all getting to shift into the energies that we thought we were going to be able to come into in 2020 before COVID hit. In the way that we all are experiencing collectively a renewed motivation and drive to live our best lives, essentially, is what it's coming down to. And the astrology that is happening now, and as we're coming into 2024, is literally super conducive to that. Now, I am going to make a separate video about the January energies, so I don't want to talk a lot about the January energies now, but we do have Pluto ingressing into Aquarius mid-January. Actually, it's like January 20th, and that is going to be a huge positive shift in the direction of our expansion as well. So I'll talk more about that in the January transit video that's going to be coming up in another day or two here. And now I want to remind us all that we are in the midst of Mercury retrograde. Mercury currently is in Sagittarius, and it's conjunct Mars in Sagittarius. Mars is the ruler of Aries, and this conjunction is an extra powerful one because Mars right now is out of bounds, and so is the moon. When a planet is out of bounds, it means that it's deviated a little bit from its normal range of orbit. And when that happens, it accentuates and highlights in almost like an eccentricity type of way the energies that are associated with that planet or luminary in the case of the moon. So with Mars being out of bounds, this has a collective impact on all of us feeling a little bit angsty, like we're raring to go. But with the conjunction to Mercury retrograde, Mars being our drive and action, Mercury being our thinking, our ideas, our communication, the best way for us to apply our drive is going to be in just reevaluating, reconsidering what our plans and strategies are for the coming year. Mercury goes direct on January 4th, which is my birthday. And the timing of Mercury going direct just a few days into the new year is going to support us all in feeling like we can get a footing and ultimately a momentum going as we are coming into the first few weeks of the year here. We want to remember this, that the full moon that we're in the energy of now, and the next 2 weeks, the moon is waning. It's growing smaller, 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 darker, darker, darker. That's not the time to launch new intentions into motion anyway. So by the time we get to the next new moon, which is the time to set new intentions in motion, Mercury will be direct. Mars is going to be pushing that energy, that motivation. Chiron is direct. We've got those positive aspects going on with Jupiter that are actually going to be happening all the way through January. So we really have a blessed time of being energetically supported in getting an expansion, a momentum, channeling in the direction of whatever our personal intentions are for the coming year. I would spend this next 2 weeks just really getting clear on what your intentions are. And then, as I said, setting the space for that. To me, that includes getting rid of anything that is cluttering up your home, clean, organize, so that you can start the year with an energy that is inviting in abundance. This Mercury retrograde over the course of the next few days is actually conjunct the galactic center, which is at 27 degrees Sagittarius. And so this is actually super advantageous energy in the way that it supports us in receiving cosmic, like higher mind level transmissions or downloads of awareness. So it's a good time to meditate, have self-reflection in the way where you're tapping into that soul level of guidance. Mercury is also squaring Neptune around this full moon. Neptune is the planet of creativity. It also governs things like intuition, the arts, music, dance, any form of creative expression. And Mercury is also connected to expression. So that energy brings inspiration around any creative endeavors or ideas that you have for yourself in the near future or even in the coming year. Now, Neptune is also making a trine to Venus in Scorpio right now, which is deeply activating our intuition, but then also matters having to do with our own self-love. So this is another component or another aspect that is feeding that theme that we're coming into the new year with rising into our highest vibrational frequencies within ourselves, our self-love, our self-worth, mastery of intuitive awareness, which reminds me, I just want to say real quick here, I want to just give a shout out to all my students who just succeeded in completing the 12-week Mastering Your Intuition apprenticeship program with me. If you missed out on that one, it is going to be rolling around again in 2024. You can stay tuned to my website for details. I'll post information in the description below as well. But the energy that we're coming into this year with is very conducive to feeling more connected to your intuition. I believe that our intuition is the most empowering tool that we have as our navigation guide on our journeys of growth and awareness. So if you are a person who's been feeling guided to hone your intuition, this coming year is an amazing year to embark on that endeavor for yourself. The Venus in Scorpio that we have going on right now is also making a sextile aspect to Pluto. Pluto is the planet of transformation. Pluto dredges up anything that's no longer serving us, supporting us, and rising into our higher nature. Venus in Scorpio is very much connected to that because Pluto is the ruler of Scorpio. Venus is all about our self-love, inner harmony. Pluto has been hanging out at the 29th degree of Capricorn because it's getting ready to move into Aquarius on January 20th. Pluto has been in Capricorn for a very long time, since 2008, and it's getting ready to move into Aquarius, and it's going to be in Aquarius for 9 months out of the year in 2024. There's a short retrograde that's going to be happening in the fall of 2024, and then once that retrograde is over in November, Pluto will be staying in Aquarius for the next 20 years. So this is a really significant transit that's happening right now with Pluto being at the 29 degrees. It's a lot about karmic completion as well. It's about what do we need to let go of, what's holding us back in our evolution, and being in your courageousness and bravery and letting those things go so that you can rise fully into yourself. This coming year is going to be highly transformative, but I feel it in like a super empowering way, regaining our inner vitality, vibrance, our inner strength, feeling more connected to our authentic self, feeling more connected to our true soul calling. And you'll be learning more about that with me in the videos that I'm uploading as we're coming into the year. With all of this change energy that's shaping up now, that is connected to this strong theme around letting go of what we need to let go of in order to rise into our 5D nature, our higher frequency nature. The clairvoyant vision that came to me to summarize the energy that's shaping up right now is the Wheel of Fortune tarot card. This card represents the energy of change, cycles of life. This card depicts a wheel with different symbols of different phases of like birth, life, death, regeneration around the outer wheel. But in the very center of the wheel, there's a spark of light. And this spark of light in the center of the wheel is really the essence of what this clairvoyant vision that I have is. It's about us all remaining centered in our own frame, our own energy, our own integrity of being our authentic self in those higher vibrational light frequencies, and staying centered in your own frame and grounded in that as things are shifting and changing around you. You want to let go of whatever wants to be let go of, and you want to hold space for whatever wants to be activated, energized, not getting swept out of your center by the comings and goings that life is bringing us right now. Ultimately, we're all heading in the direction, as we're coming into the coming year around the new moon in Capricorn on January 11th, we're all coming into this energy of creating and establishing new foundations of growth for ourselves. And that is like our inward growth and our growth in regard to what we want to experience, create, and manifest. So the whole reason I share these insights with all of you is so that we can move through the energy most conscientiously. Although I'm speaking in terms of the astrological energies that are having a collective impact on all of us, we all are going to experience these energies in our own unique ways based on how the transits are activating our own unique birth charts. This is why I offer at the beginning of each year an in-depth, what I call a life path reading, which includes a psychic reading, an astrology reading, where we're taking a look at your birth chart, specifically looking at the markers that we look at for things that are connected to what your true soul calling is. And then we look at the transits that are happening in 2024 and how that's activating your chart so that you can work with that energy specific to yourself. And then I also incorporate tarot within that reading as well. If you would like to get your own personal 2024 life path reading, now is the time to book that session. Doing it within the next month or two at the beginning of the year brings the most value, because then you're going to have like your map to success for the coming year. I want to thank all of you who have joined me here on this channel in the past year. My channel is still relatively new and still small, and I so appreciate all of the positive support and feedback that I've been getting from all of you, and I look forward to remaining connected in the coming year. Blessings and namaste.